Good morning, guys. Back with another video. Vigor Warriors 2 here. And back with another video in the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. Want to give out some shout outs today. This is October 3rd, 2022. Plum, thank you for your comments. Who's Khan? Uzek, XU tier, X2X music, thank you. iPhone account, thank you for your comment. John Cream, talking about Tom Brady. We'll talk about that a little bit at some point. We had OG Air Max and Spiritual Wisdom talking about 800 days and plus. We'll talk about that. Today is 850 days for me, and we'll talk about that as well. And then Downey 2000, 472 days. Congratulations, my friend. Keep it going. Bashir Chic and Create, Heal, Inspire. Keep it up, my friends. And today, and we're also going to talk Tori a little bit about monk mode. I kind of add them all, bring them all together because we are at 850 days, and I want to talk about that a little bit too. And also, thank you, Spiritual Wisdom, for the comment on the old, giving the information to the young. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. I think that it's always important for us, people who are in these experienced situations, to give back to people and to allow them to be helped. And hopefully you guys can get help by some of the experiences that I have. And then one day you guys can kind of pass those on to some of the youngsters in your generation to be able to kind of help you with this. So the big question we talk about, and I think all three, OG, Air Max, Tori, and Spiritual Wisdom's getting to, is that do things change? Now my life is completely changed. After 850 days, there is no doubt in my mind the course I'm going through the rest of my life, and that's the Semen Retention course. Now, once again, you know, you actually say to yourself, well, do the benefits decrease as time goes on? Well, let's put it this way. We're talking about things that are essential for you to be a great person, and that's your nutrients. It's almost like you get people who are releasing energy 4 or 5 times a day. Well, what's happening to them? Well, they're becoming very weak. They're nowhere near what they should be. And so they suffer because of a lot of that. And so they don't become very, very strong. I believe that, like anything else, when you're talking about having your energy strong and keeping your energy, you're becoming stronger by the minute. And so what ends up happening is that, you know, and some people say, well, you can go crazy, too much of it. I think people who are older, as they get used to it, they become better at transmuting their energy. That's why most people become wealthy between the ages of 40 and 60, because they tend to use that energy not for chasing women around anymore. They use it to become strong and independent, and they become very strong physically, mentally, things like that. It's because they're learning to transmute all that energy, and all that energy now becomes strong. And so they're not wasting their time losing their energy and all these other types of things that they're doing. And so as you go through life and you focus on this, it's very important to recognize the importance of staying with this. And so at 850 days, I see tremendous benefits. Now, because you're so used to them, you're not necessarily going to notice a huge difference between day to day. Because when you were losing energy 4 or 5 times a day, well, yeah, of course, when you stop, you're going to have a huge difference. Your whole life is going to look upside down. But the thing is, as you do it for a while, now this becomes a lifestyle change, and you still always end up having those strong benefits. You're becoming more and more the man you should be. Now, when we talk about this, you're still going to see great benefits. I'm still seeing them at 850 days. The clarity of your mind, the focusing on things is still there. And you talk about, health-wise, I'm in better shape than I ever was. I have 2 back of abs. I'm still getting closer. But I didn't have anything like that for many, many years. And so this, to me, is the cause of it. And it also inspires you then to do other things with your life. And all these things come together because you're now being the man you should be. And you're saving all your energy, and you're becoming that strong masculine person. In this society, with all talk about toxic masculinity and nonsense about that, and talking about how men should be, these weak beta males, this is all a bunch of nonsense to get men to be weak. What you really want to do is you want to keep your strong in this, and don't get fooled by this nonsense. Don't get sucked in. I mean, all you got to do is look at all the Bible stories, and I think one of our viewers mentioned that. Look at the Bible stories, Samson, Delilah. You know, you look at Joseph and the king's wife, you know, trying to get him and seduce him and all these kind of things. It's all a matter of control, my friends. And if you can control yourself, then all of a sudden you control everything around you. And you're controlling especially the women who are interested in getting that energy and trying to make you kind of give up something. And Samson and Delilah is probably the best example that I can think of in the Bible talking about that. And I'm not saying, of course, all women are bad. Of course not. But I'm saying the fact of the matter is that some people that you're going to run into are going to have this mentality of trying to suck your energy out, almost like that. And we're talking about energy vampires. Perfect type of thing. So at 850 days, all you're doing is feeling stronger. Now, you know, you're still going to have that huge amount of attraction, and I see it all the time. I mean, I'm still seeing it every day. You know, how women treat you is different. How they end up, you know, winking at you, all kinds of stuff they look at. Now it's a whole different type of attitude than I've ever had before. And I'm 61 years old, guys, so I can just imagine you guys, you're 20 and 25. If you have any kind of long streak, 30, you're gonna just, I mean, it ends up being kind of ridiculous at times because it's so pronounced. And especially if they're staring at you and all of a sudden you're looking at them, it's almost kind of awkward at times. And I know people have talked about that in some of the responses they've given to me. You have to just be prepared that you're going to have this side of attraction. But it's not something to be fazed by because you realize that you're not really interested in that anymore. And it's nice and flattering, of course, but you're really more interested in achieving your goals and doing your own thing. I always remember that situation with the lion, and I think it's a video out there or something. The lion's sitting there and just watching things, and all of a sudden a couple of these female lions come up and they try to get attention. He's just not paying attention, and all of a sudden they're hanging on him and all kinds of stuff. And at the end, basically that's what they're looking for. They're looking for attention to get you to kind of you know, look at them and pay attention, use your energy for them. And this is a natural thing, and there's nothing wrong with that if you have the right person you're talking about. I'm talking more in terms of having several, you know, types of people and things kind of sucking your energy for almost nothing you're getting back from it. And I think that's the whole key to when we look at this, to kind of say, okay, what am I getting out of this situation? So at 850 days, there is no doubt to me that it's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger, and a lot more pronounced on these things we're talking about. My voice has gotten a lot deeper than it was before. A lot of these things make a huge difference. But the physical attraction, the benefits, all these things come into play when you're talking about, you know, long streaks, especially for some of you young guys who are just kind of starting off. You'll see such a pronounced difference at the beginning, and then it will just kind of normalize. And I think that's the key word. It's not that it just tails off because you're comparing it with something at the beginning. And we were all kind of in bad shape at the beginning of the streak. You know, this is why we needed to go on a streak in the first place. But as you develop more, all of a sudden you become a stronger type person, and now your experience is every day. And so it should not be any different, especially when you're transmuting that energy into other things. You're becoming a lot more stronger, and now your whole attitude is, well, this is my lifestyle now. And like I said, I mean, I would not normally count days. A lot of times, as you know, I forget the days as I go through this, because that's not the important thing. I'm doing it more as a matter of just trying to see this first time, how long can I go? I'm shooting for 12 years. And obviously the reason I'm doing it is to try to get closer to God. And I believe that's the case. And I think that is happening because I think about the Lord more and more as I do this more. And I think it's kind of taken away the energy of thinking about women all the time and thinking more about the Lord. And so as you're focusing on this, what you're doing is transmuting that energy into something that is a lot more peaceful, satisfaction, things like that. I find myself sometimes, what happens is that if you get into the wrong situation over the years, I've got myself more angry, more upset, and I treat people differently because of all that. And I think you guys probably experience all that as you do this. I think being on the streak, what you see is a lot more calmness, I don't get angry, nearly as much, certainly not, than I used to. And I think a lot of that is because I had a lot of energy flowing back and forth, and I felt, I think, self-conscious that I was doing this all the time. And I think we all do. I think we feel self-conscious at times doing this kind of stuff, because I think we know it's wrong, and we just have to kind of figure out, well, what am I going to do? What can I do? And so you kind of beat yourself up, which I was doing for a lot of years, because I couldn't figure out how to stop this. I thought I couldn't, but then all of a sudden I decided, okay, I'm going to just do it. The heck with it, I'm going to commit to it. My concern obviously was I thought it would affect my health, that if I did it, if I went on this streak, it affected my health, this would be bad. Because you're told by doctors and people all the time that if you don't release, you're going to end up getting all kinds of cancers and things like that. Well, I don't really believe that's the case. I think that is just a misleading, and I don't know if the doctors are doing it on purpose. They may be just reading studies that people are putting out as well. But the thing is that it is not something that you should be focusing on. You should be focusing on your Lord will help you in trying to live your life and navigate your life the way it should be. And you have to trust in the Lord. And I think if you do that, then all of a sudden you're not worried about having sex. You're not worried about looking at pictures, all this kind of stuff that's out there. And as some people mentioned, that's why I kind of give it shout outs. I'm glad the information is helping people, because I think a lot of times there's things that men don't talk about. Men need to talk about these things, at least to the point of having people who can understand themselves and talk about it. And of course that puts channels like mine into one that's just all men, but I'm sure we have a lot of women that are listening and they understand this. And a lot of women want, in my opinion, that I've met, a lot of women want strong males. They don't want weak males, because then it means they've got to do a lot more of the work, and they don't want to do that. And I think certainly when you look at this situation, you realize that the men are the workhorses, whether it's good or bad. That's the way it is. And the thing is that once you recognize this, a lot of women become attractive, especially as they get older. And I think this is the key to it. But again, you're looking for something else. You're looking to be the best person you can become. You're looking to establish yourself as a goal and to become strong and to become someone who is going to be a force in this world. And I think certainly the way to do that is to become someone who is actually, keeping their retention, keeping their seed, and be able to kind of go through life and be as strong as possible. So again, in summary, as we talk about this, and this is 850 some days, we're talking about the fact that you have to think of this in terms of a long-term race, like a marathon. You're living your life now focusing on trying to become that best strong person you can become. And the way to do that is to become strong with the energy and the nutrients and everything you have, the seed that you have that God has given you. And once you do that, now you become someone who then is respectable. People look at and they admire and they kind of be very attracted to. And so it doesn't matter who is looking at you and what your age is, you're still going to attract that sort of thing. That's why when you see a lot of people, you'll see them become attractive no matter what age they are. It doesn't matter if they're 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, 20, 30, 40. Because it's really more of the energy level you have. And obviously, if you keep your seed, now if you're younger keeping your seed, how much more energy you have is unbelievable. I wish I could go back to those 20s and do this again and change everything. But I think we learn experiences. Lord gives us why we learn things as we go through. And I think it's important to kind of focus on that. All right, so guys, enough for today. Have a great day, my friends, and keep battling on. Thank you again, all the people we shouted out to here. Trying to make sure we get everybody on this. Thank you, Tori, Spiritual Wisdom, John Cream Plum, Exoterior Music, iPhone. Thank you for OG Air Maxes. Thank you so much for your comments. Downey 2000, keep going, my friend. Bashir Sheik, everybody. So you guys, thank you for donations, subscriptions. I appreciate that a great deal. And until next time, my guys, battle on!